Hello everyone, I'm Benjamin Gutierrez, and welcome back to the Jasper Cat Productions show. And today we are going to be concluding our, what I like to call the first season of the Attack on Titan manga series, Attack on Titan Volume 8. Now, right off the bat, I feel like this is a rather interesting way to conclude the first half of the sort of arc that the series has had for quite a bit now. The first major positive that I have with it is actually from its very start, as it gives us more information on a certain military faction that we don't exactly know all that much information on, and that is the military police. And the first half of this volume is pretty much about us being introduced, I guess you could say, to members of the military police and sort of get a grip on the kind of people who are actually in this faction. And while there's only one character in particular, aside from, okay, I guess you could say there's two characters that we really sort of begin to care about in this volume. The first one is Annie Leonhardt, who is pretty much the only side character that didn't join the Survey Corps. She actually becomes a member of the military police. And the second character is a newcomer to the roster of side characters, which is, I believe his name is Marlowe. And we are actually told a sort of goal of his, and his goal as a member of the military police is to get higher in terms of the rank, and once he becomes one of the heads of the military police, which probably would take a really, really long time, his sort of goal is to quote-unquote fix the military police, because he believes that they aren't exactly doing the kind of work that they should be doing, and he wants to sort of go against the system that was made for them for the sake of not only the military police's benefit, but for the rest of humanity's benefit, which Annie really respects, as it's a sign of someone wanting to go against what was considered the norm in order to help the rest of humanity, which Annie sort of correlates to Eren when his goal was to join the Survey Corps and eliminate the Titans, which, as we know, would also be a good benefit to humanity. And this sort of brings up the question as to if people like Eren and Marlowe in this universe are these sort of quote-unquote special people in this world who are willing to go against the norms for the sake of what they believe is right, then does that mean the people who don't do so, the people who just go with the flow of everything around them and sort of follow what's told, are they inherently evil, or is that just a symbol of them being humans? Which is a rather interesting sort of topic that I could probably make a whole video on, but we have to finish the story. Anyway, after we are introduced to the characters, they are given their mission for the day, which according to their leader is quite a different one compared to the usual work that they have. They are in charge of escorting Eren, who is being taken custody of by the military police. They are to sort of make sure that nothing weird sort of happens. And that's when Annie runs into Armin, who asks Annie for her help in getting Eren to escape from from the military police, and while Annie's reluctant at first, she eventually agrees and begins to help them. And this is when things get a little bit bizarre in terms of Annie's established character, because she begins to become more and more reluctant on helping them when they're eventually led to what looks to be an underground tunnel below the cities, which Annie's reluctant to go in. And this is when they all get very suspicious of Annie, because before this, the Survey Corps had a meeting on who could possibly be the female Titan, and the first person that Armin believes to be the main candidate is Annie Leonhardt. This is the first major reason, and I think the most valid of reasons, is the fact that way back when the female Titan was first introduced, and she grabbed Armin only to let him go and run away, it's clear that she knew that wasn't Eren. Another thing that also makes it more evident is the female Titan's fighting style, which is very closely related to Annie's fighting style. And while this isn't exactly concrete evidence, these are just assumptions made by Armin. This is just a simple experiment to see if Annie's really the female Titan, and if she's not, and it all turns out to be, it all seems to be for nothing, they'll just try again with someone else. But of course, it turns out Annie is the female Titan, and after her her transformation into the female Titan, after the Survey Corps and also the civilians fail to capture her, it's now up to Eren, Armin, and Mikasa, as well as the rest of the Survey Corps, to finally take her on and capture her, which they sort of, quote-unquote, do. They manage to beat the female Titan, but unfortunately, Annie's able to use her sort of ice hardening power that she had while in Titan form to encase herself in this giant sort of crystal. And as a result, they aren't able to get any evidence from her, which kind of is an interesting kind of thing I thought about for what happens for the Survey Corps, where it seems like they get some progress on stuff, but then it just leads to another mystery that they're not sure how to solve, and as a result, which is likely why many of their missions seem to be in vain, as it feels like they're not exactly getting anywhere. But the end of this volume does raise a bunch of questions, as when the female Titan is trying to climb up the walls and escape, Mikasa is able to slice her fingers off and causes the female Titan to fall all the way back down. Which, by the way, the ending climax against Eren and Annie is vastly different compared to how it was dealt with in the anime, and there's something in me that sort of prefers the anime rendition of it, as that felt a lot more action-packed compared to what happened in this volume, but both of them sort of lead to the same result. But after the female Titan falls, what occurs is that Mikasa finds, after some rubble of the wall begins to break, and inside the wall appears to be a Titan. A Titan that's about as big as the Colossal Titan from the first volume. Inside the walls, which the Survey Corps then begin to notice. Which that's another thing that's very different compared to the anime. The reveal of the Titan being inside the wall in the anime, that was covered as like the final shot of the series. Whereas in here, the scenes actually continue where season 2 would leave off, which is interesting. It goes to show how different events can happen in terms of adapting it from one sort of media to another. But what happens after that, I won't spoil for those of you who want to see the series for yourself. But overall, this was a very good volume 2, and the first half of it. The fact that we got introduced to some new characters, and while we didn't get to know as much of them, the characters that we did get, the characters who did get their sort of time in the spotlight, was very nice to see, especially for me who really likes seeing side characters get their own spotlight, even if it's just for a little bit. The climax is still action-packed while not being as, I guess you could say, over the top as it was in the anime. It still does still ask us more questions about, you know, the world that these people live in. And I highly recommend this volume for those of you who have read the series, and for those of you who haven't watched the series, or read it, I guess you could say. For those who haven't seen the series at all, I definitely recommend you give this series a read or a watch if you're a more fan of animation. Now, while this may be the quote-unquote last part of the first half of the series, it's not exactly the end of this review series that I've made, as there is one more thing that I want to talk to you to review for all of you people watching that has to do with the Attack on Titan universe, but I'm going to save that for next time. So until then, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and until next time, I'm Benjamin Contreras, and bye.